In the early 2000s, there was a movement that was spreading around social media platforms everywhere. That was the settle for Biden trend, in which American voters believed that rather than just voting for the opposite political affiliation, the Republican Party, it would be wiser for America's best interest to settle for Biden, who was seen at that time as the less favorable of the two candidates. Now, with in mind the fact that this was during a time of great political polarization, we have to understand that this movement has been resurfacing yet again in 2022, leading into 2023, and which, according to the Washington Post, another resurgence of this movement, the Is Biden Competent movement, has come back to social media platforms, which calls into question whether or not Joe Biden has been adequately serving not only his own political affiliation, but American voters in general. So, with this in mind, we are moving on to today's question, which is, what can Joe Biden get done in 2023? Now, with this in mind, we see that Joe Biden has made many promises to his people. However, a large majority of these promises have yet to be kept. Therefore, when analyzing today's question and answering this, number one, as to what Joe Biden can get done in 2023, Joe Biden can heal and help solve the polarized rift between the radical left and radical right. Number two, Joe Biden can help get back to his student forgiveness program and reintegrate better methods by which he can expand his student forgiveness of debt. And lastly, number three, Joe Biden can implement better plans to reintegrate those who are incarcerated back into society through his societal reintegration prisoner programs. So to begin with, number one, when we understand what Joe Biden can get done in the year 2023, let's start off with an understanding of the political shift between the radical left and radical right. It was stated by George Washington back in colonial times that whenever you had a two-party system, there was likely going to be contention between both parties, which led to more political polarization. And 2023's political shift has been a very good demonstration of this, which is why, again, according to statistics that were done by Statistica.com, it stated on November 1st of 2022 that of all American voters, about 29% on the radical right said that they identified with the radical right, and a total of 78% on the radical left said they were radical leftists, rather than having that concentration of the middle ground or the Green Party, the middle party, voters having to identify with either one extreme or the other. Which means that in recent times, people feel as though their opinions are being threatened in society so much so that they have to identify very strongly with either one side or the other to get their votes through to Congress and to their government, which indeed is very, very bad. Following the COVID-19 pandemic, additionally, it was told to us by the New York Times on March 21st of 2022 that with voters both left and right spectrums, they felt as though if their opinions were ever going to be expressed in government, the only way they were going to get the majority of their beliefs expressed was through extremism voting, especially when trying to turn the tables for better inaction and policies leading to COVID-19's removal and containment. Therefore, Joe Biden has done some efforts to try to combat the political stigma and polarization within the United States. However, not enough has been done following multiple riots and Capitol lootings, as well as suspicious conspiracy against government within the last American vote. So with this in mind, number one, if he is going to continue on his path of leading a legacy of Americans growing back stronger than ever and having a more unified society, Joe Biden should start with lessening the political polarization of the extremist left and right. But moving on to what he can do in 2023, Joe Biden can continue on with his student loan forgiveness program. Now, according to, again, more statistics and I should say research done by Pew Research, they stated on September 29th of 2022 that of all the American citizens who are able to utilize Joe Biden's program for student debt forgiveness, of that percentage, only 30% of Americans in total are actually able to utilize student debt forgiveness, which is a very small fraction of American students who actually take out loans, because 78% of students who are within the United States actually utilize student loans, but yet only 30% of those can actually have student loan forgiveness. This is a very big problem because it focuses more on the inequalities systemically within the American educational system. However, Joe Biden, though he did mean well with his policies, have not been able to extend these social graces to all American citizens. Now, again, Joe Biden's official website, in fact, under his candidacy, his own people have stated that they wanted to expand the equality within the United States to where everybody could utilize student debt forgiveness. However, most people have not been able to enjoy the benefits that come with this. Therefore, especially seeing that student loan forgiveness was one of his biggest voting key points during his presidency, before his inauguration, we believe that every American citizen should be given the opportunity to utilize student debt forgiveness in the status quo to increase societal proliferation. And very finally, for Joe Biden to be able to enact a better, stronger America for the future, he should integrate better policies to reintegrate prisoners back into a functioning society. It was said, according to prisonpolicy.com, back in October 19th of 2022, that of the around 69% of individuals who were incarcerated, in the next 10 years, a large majority of those people would be reincarcerated back into the prison system, showing that whatever reforms and policies we have in place now are not working to help the people. Therefore, Joe Biden needs to do something about this age-old problem of incarcerated peoples being reincarcerated upon their dismissal and reentry back into society. Additionally speaking, this could come in forms of additional job training, education, and/or rehabilitation programs that help introduce these people back into functioning society without the likelihood of offending crimes again. So in conclusion, today we have seen in 3 key areas of analysis all of the policies that Joe Biden can put into place following his presidency for the last 2 years, going into his 3rd year. Therefore, when analyzing today's question as to what Joe Biden can do in the year 2023, we can see, number 1, he can fix the rift between the political left and right. Number 2, implement better policies on his student forgiveness for debt. And number 3, implement better policies for those who are incarcerated coming back into society. Thank you.